Are you tired of people talking about growth hacks and ninja strategies and all of these promises that honestly, when you try them, you end up disappointed? Well, here's one growth hack that I'm going to promise you has been statistically proven. And that's as simple as taking this pen and taking this planner and writing in it. Because in fact, studies have shown that just by writing something down, just by writing your goals, your tasks, the things you want to get done, your to-do lists, by writing things down, you're 43% more likely to get it done just by writing it down. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm going to get a 43% head start doing something, I'm absolutely going to do whatever that thing is. And this is my favorite planner that exists in the market right now. I've been using it for a long, long time. And the good thing for you is I'm going to review it today. And it's brand new. I haven't even taken the label off of it yet. But before we get started, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, CMH, founder of StartupU. StartupU is an interactive learning space for online business owners. Go to getstartupu.com, getstartupu.com to learn more about what we do. All right, so cool. I'm going to be showing you guys some stuff. This sleek, I love it. This is brand new, and actually I was able to get, I'm a little bit picky, I'm a little particular when it comes to things that I like and aesthetic things, probably more so than most men. But anyways, I just got this. It's brand new, and usually it was black, and now they've got this amazing shade of like a navy blue, which I really, really dig a lot. It's actually the same hue of like the new iPhone Pro. I've got the iPhone 12 Pro Max. It's like that same shade of blue. I really love it. They have a lot of different options. So let's go ahead and crack this thing open and dig in. So one of the things that you'll notice with this planner is at the beginning, and I absolutely recommend you do so, you go to fullfocusplanner.com/start, right? And so what they do is they walk you through how to use this thing, right? So I'm going to show you a lot of how to use it and how I use it specifically, but they have a generic version that you can go through that just kind of shows you how to use this thing and just educates you on all the functions and features of it. I will go ahead and tell you this. This planner is more expensive than some of the planners that are out there. You can find a planner that's probably a fraction of the price. However, this thing, from what I have gathered and from my own experience, anecdotally, is worth every single penny, right? You're not paying for the planner, you're paying for the results. That's a huge difference, right? You're talking about thousands of dollars. You're talking about how you live your life, how you plan your day, how you plan your year. It's very important that you're getting maximum results. It's not something you want to, skim on, right? Like you want to get something that's the best. So invest in the extra money to do that. But one of the things that I recommend you do is absolutely go through their training tips, etc., that they provide, because I think it's going to help you quite a bit. Okay, now, if you're just now joining in and you're just now watching this video, you're going to want to go back to the first video and watch that one as well. You don't have to start right now. You don't have to go back and watch it, but you're going to want to watch it at some point. The reason being is because one of the things I helped you do was determine what your annual goals should be, right? So the first page of this here is on actually literally you skim past and you go to annual goals. Well, it tells you just to write your goals down. So the reason I want to do that video first and actually give you a worksheet to actually write your goals down is because I wanted you to be able to really determine what your goals should be versus just writing down random goals. So a little bit, I would like to see something like that built into this planner, but that's a lot. It's being really particular, really specific. So use that worksheet to build into this before you start writing down your goals. I also recommend this too, and this is going to be really helpful. Don't use a pencil. A pencil is a child's toy. Use a pen. However, I know you lose one of the functions of that, which is the ability to erase. So I would buy an erasable pen so you can actually write things down and erase them as you go. I found this to be really, really effective. I'll actually include the brand in the link below, in the description below. I'm pretty sure it's just from Amazon or something like that, but you can actually buy cartridges to replace these when they run out. Anyways, so going through, one of the things I think is really interesting is that you write down your goal, but then it makes you get more specific, right? It makes you write down what are your motivations for this goal? What is the goal summary, right? What type of goal is it? Is it a spiritual goal? Is it an emotional goal? Is it a physical goal? Is it a marital goal, etc.? The next steps. So it's going to tell you like, okay, what are the next logical steps forward with this particular goal? Your reward. So how are you going to reward yourself? I talked about in the first video in this series where I talked about you need to give yourself that boost of dopamine reward to encourage yourself to want to take on new challenging tasks. If you're just climbing the mountain all the time and there's no sense of celebratory sensation, you're gonna find that you're like, why am I even doing this, right? So you want to reward yourself. You absolutely want to hit like and subscribe to this channel while you're at it. Then next, you're actually going to do your tracker. So if there's some kind of streak that's involved with this thing to build a habit, which I think is, if you watch my channel, you know how big I'm on habits. Habits are the key to life. Habits are the key to success. Habits are the key to doing anything you want to do, whether it's business and or otherwise. So I love that they have a streak tracker down here. Now, you'll see many other pages where there's you can do this for all of your goals. Every goal you write down, there's goal detail pages that each are going to allow you to do the exact same thing. Take the time to actually go through and do this. One of the things that you will notice, though, using this planner, this has been my experience, is you're going to very rarely refer back to that. So I am going to make a better habit myself of making sure I refer back to those goals more frequently. There's never a reminder throughout the planner to refer back to your annual goals. So in my first video in this series, I talked about building quarterly goals. I think if you have a mechanism where you're reviewing your quarterly goals, you can go back and check on here and track on here if you're on track to hit those goals, or if you're in the process of coming closer to hitting those goals versus just making them completely arbitrary. Okay, next, so there is a monthly calendar. I'll be totally candid, I don't use this. It is what it is. I just haven't really seen a function to use it, honestly. Now, my wife and business partner, she uses the monthly calendar part of it a lot. She actually will write things into here. Maybe you want to use it in that capacity. Personally, this is where I use digital. I use my phone for this, because it can send me notifications and reminders. I don't check this enough from a calendar perspective to use this feature, but I suppose if you wanted to, it's there if you needed it. And there's several pages for that. Now, there's a next where you actually can do rolling quarters. And I don't use this feature either. So you'll want to look into the link that I provided as far as how they use that. This is not a feature I've used, nor have I really understood exactly how to use that. But I can only imagine that there is some explanation for it. I'm not going to teach you something that I don't do myself. Okay, next. This is this is big, and I actually do use this one a lot because, like I just said, I'm all about habits, right? So one of the things that's really interesting is they allow you to build in what your daily rituals are going to be, aka what new habits are you going to build? So there's a morning ritual, a work day ritual, a work day shutdown ritual, and an evening ritual. Now, I think this is really, really important. Actually, Brendan Burchard calls them activation triggers. And what he means by that is, what do you do throughout your day to trigger yourself, literally, to get in the right mindset for the next phase of your day? So a lot of people just roll out of bed, drink their coffee, and expect to go right to work. You need to have something that conditions your mind to be prepared, to be in the right mindset for your workspace. Same with shutting down, right? Like, how are you going to shut down your day to transition into your personal life? I think that's very important to have some kind of routine. One of the most effective things that I did was I would actually do 10 minutes of just quick meditation, listen to some fun music, start to make that transition out of my workday, clean my office, have some kind of thing that just triggered. Funny story, actually. If you remember in the show The Office, when Andy was the manager, and he was trying to create some kind of routine, he would sing the song Closing Time. Closing time.
Every office needs an end of the day tradition.
Right? And it was like the whole thing was to kind of like transition and make it a fun activity. That's kind of what you want to do, honestly. He was kind of on the right track with that. The reason being is because you want to start making that transition, and psychologically, you're going to go ahead and start to act a little bit differently. It's going to help you turn it off, right? A lot of entrepreneurs, they will cite, I'm just always on. I can't turn it off. Even though I'm not working, I'm still working because my brain's still going 100 miles an hour. This is going to help you do that. The other thing that's going to really help you do that is if you like this video and subscribe to this channel, just an FYI. Okay, and then you're going to write down an ideal week. All right, so this is interesting, and I do use this, right? So you're going to write down your hour by hour, what you're going to do for each week. This is going to give you the opportunity to really theme out your week. I will say this is more of a theoretical. The practicality on a day-by-day basis is really what you're going to take advantage of most, but it's good to still write down like what's the ideal. Maybe you want to go back and cross-reference to see how you're doing or how it's changed contingent upon what your theory was prior to you doing that. Next, you're going to write down your key projects. So you're going to write down key projects you have throughout the year. Maybe you write down those in alignment with your goals or the steps that are required to reach your goals. Write those down as well as due dates that probably align with your quarterly goals as well. And then next, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this planner. And this is the part that I think is just tremendous as far as this planner is concerned. The reason being is that it's going to help you focus on your big three. I call them MITs. It's effectively the same thing. MIT stand for most important things. These three things must get done. Now, if you read the book, Eat That Frog, I think it's called Eat That Frog. Anyways, let me check. Yes. So if you read the book, Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, actually I have it right here, One of the things he talks about is no matter what, your frog is the first things you need to get done for that day. So just make a habit of just tackling those things first. Some people like to get into it and they want to kind of, oh, I'll check my email and I'll play around with some stuff, whatever. No, he says go straight into your most important thing. So this is going to hold you accountable because you have to literally write your big 3 at the very top. Now, underneath, you're going to write your other tasks, things that have to get done, paying your water bill, right? Like communicating with your team, stuff like that. At the very bottom, what you'll see is that there's actually a key. So you do a check mark for done, a slash for waiting for, an O or a circle for delegate, an arrow for defer, and an X for delete. Now, any of those other tasks that maybe just don't make sense, or you're kind of going through your day and you're analyzing what's going on, you're going to use one of those symbols to determine what you're going to do next with that, right? So that's very, very important. Now, the part that I absolutely love, right? This is the part, I'm telling you right now, this has been the biggest thing that's helped me with this planner, is next to that, what you're going to see is you're going to see a breakdown of hour by hour, much similar to the one we just saw that was a theoretical. This is going to be the practical one. So what you're going to do is you're going to write down and plan your day. And I recommend doing this the night before or the morning of, whichever you prefer. Sometimes what I'll do is write the night before, but then I tweak it the morning of. You'll write down everything you're going to do on an hour by hour basis. What this is going to allow you to do is it takes advantage of what's called Parkinson's law. So Parkinson's law states that your work will expand to fit the time that you allot for it. So have you ever noticed, maybe you remember when you were a kid and you were in school, when you didn't have anything going on other than doing your homework, right? Like maybe you had the day off and so you had something, and next thing you know, it's 9:30 at night and you still haven't even gotten started. That's Parkinson's law because you just had all this time. So you're creating urgency in your own day by design, by intent, right? Making sure that it's reasonable, right? You don't want to have a 3-hour project crammed into a 30-minute window because you're like, well, it's Parkinson's law. That's not how it works. But making sure that you have reasonable allotments, right? So what I'll normally do is I'll write down for one 30-minute block, I'll write down one of my tasks. And if I feel like it's going to take two of the 30-minute blocks to a full hour, then I'll do that. So usually what I'll do, I'll spend the first 3 hours, the first 120 minutes or 90 minutes or something, something along those lines, 2 to 3 hours, just tackling my MITs, right? And I'll typically try to theme out my day in accordance with that. So I get into a cadence every single day where like my brain is just going into that mode of it's time for MITs. Okay, it's time for tasks. It's time for my creative time. It's time for my interviews. So I actually theme out everything. And so that has really helped me. In fact, so much so that just doing this, just filling out these hour by hour blocks, what I had come to find is I was literally getting pretty much all of my things done on my list, on a typical list. Didn't change anything. It was the same functions every single day, but I was actually getting it done in half the amount of time. Meaning by noon, I was finishing what usually took me until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's unbelievable. That's a ridiculous growth hack. The only growth hack that I can think is better than that is liking and subscribing to this channel, honestly, if we're really being honest. On the right side of the page, what you're going to see is notes. Okay, so what I do here is I have an intention, and it's my intention and it's my big lofty goal. So I write it down every single day. I think that's very, very important to do that. Whatever, you might think it's woo-woo or whatever, but it's been proven that if you write down your goal every single day, whatever that goal is, your big, like, I'm going to be your big Walt Disney dream goal, right? Write that down every single day. The other thing that I do in the notes section is I actually write down 3 to 5 things that I'm grateful for. So this is where I do my gratitude practice. So when I open my day, I start my day, I look over, I revise what I have planned for the day. If I'm going to take on that task, if it's reasonable to take on all these tasks, what my big 3 are, then I write down what my big lofty life goal is, as well as 3 to 5 of my gratitude. And I try to make it something different every day, right? I don't like to have gratitude practices where it's the same thing every single day. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for the blue sky, right? Like make it something truly different, like really push yourself. You have something to be grateful for every single day that's inherently different than the day before. One of the books that I really recommend is called Positive Intelligence by Shirzad Chamine. And he actually talks about how some people go through hundreds of things they're grateful for every single day before they start their day. And they've actually found a direct link between success and people's PQ score, which is a positive intelligence score. It's very fascinating stuff. Okay, next what you're going to do is you're going to go to the end of the week, and you'll do this throughout the week, so Monday through Friday, all right? Then on the weekends, I actually recommend doing this as well. So you're going to put in things that are, a lot of people do this with entrepreneurship, right? They just turn it off and want to lay around on the weekends. What I would do is put in things, and you're going to go back to your personal goals that you wrote down inside of this planner, and you're going to try to pick up places, new restaurants, parks, like things you want to do that's building relationships in other areas of your life, because you want to attend to your Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So you want to attend to other areas that are going to fill you up So write those in on those specific days. So I actually would take this with you, put it on your nightstand on a Friday night, and then Saturday morning wake up and like, it's the weekend. What am I going to do today? How am I going to, enjoy my life and expand and focus on my recovery time? So I'd do that for both Saturday and Sunday. Now, the next thing, this is the last thing, and truth be told, I kind of wish this was included before the first week, but it's not, and I always have to go back to the previous planner to do this. It's really bizarre how it's laid out this way. I don't know why they did it. But there's the weekly preview. Like, why would you not have a weekly preview section before the actual first week? That doesn't make any sense to me. So what you're going to do is you're going to cite your biggest wins, 3 to 5 from the previous week. I fill out all 5 every single week. There's at least 5 wins to celebrate. After action review, so how far did you get on your big 3 goals? So you're going to have big 3 for the week. I'm going to talk about in a second. How far did you get? Percentage of completion. What worked and what didn't work, right? So reflection. It's always important to test and refine and tweak what you're doing. So write those things down. And then what will you keep, improve, start, or stop doing? And it's based contingent upon what you wrote down prior to, all right? On the right-hand side, what you're going to do is you're actually going to write down all of your tasks that were deferred, other things that you put off, other things that, daily notes, stuff like that you want to go back and refer to. Then you're going to do your weekly overview, which is what's the upcoming week going to look like. So I actually list everything, all the tasks that I have to do, everything, including my big 3 for the week, but also my big 3 that I'm going to try to include for every day. The must get done things for that upcoming week. I write everything down here. This is a new thing. They've actually broken down personal and professional. So I would actually use that. Before I would just write them all together and I'd have to discern which is which. This is actually good that they broke it down and split it up. Okay, and then this is actually new too. They have a block for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday. So you can actually write in some of those things in accordance with that. I don't know if I'd use that part, if I'm being totally candid. And then it looks like now what they've added is your weekly big 3, which is there before. They've also added a self-care planner, which this is actually a new feature too with this brand new planner that I got, which is sleep, eat, move, connect, and relax. So it's basically just to write down certain things you're going to do every day to improve in those various areas, which is pretty interesting. And then we're back to Monday, which is the following week. So I would go back to the weekly preview and fill this in accordance with that. One last thing I'll leave you with that I try to do is I try to take the weekly preview and I try to write out the full week, at least the big 3, not everything, but I try to write out at least the big 3 for every day of what I'm going to work on. Now, if there's certain tasks like paying the bills that aren't due till Thursday, I don't want that ruminating in my mind. So I'm just going to put it on my other tasks for Thursday. So I don't have to come back or like put it in my brain and try to think about it. I'm just going to write it in for Thursday. There's no reason to have to sit on that and use your brain capacity for something so minuscule. It doesn't matter. So that's that. There's probably a million other functions and features of this planner, but again, I highly recommend. It's worth every single penny of it. I take it everywhere with me. I think you're going to be more than happy with it, but you're going to be even happier if you like this video and subscribe to this channel. Hope you guys enjoyed the rest of this series. We have a lot of incredible videos coming up. We're going to talk about some health hacks and other productivity related strategies that you can deploy in the new year so that you can achieve your best year ever, to borrow my friend here, Michael Hyatt, that invented this full focus planner. That is his saying, that is his book, and I'm going to look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.